Hello, everybody. It's me, Roscoe, and welcome to the first instalment of the Ipswich Town Transfer Talk series. This summer, silly season is here. Of course, Town are in the Premier League back after over 2 decades. I'm here with AJ to sort out the fact to the fiction and all that sort of stuff. AJ, come in, my friend. There's been a lot of rumours and stuff we've been able to back up ourselves as well. But silly season's here.
Yeah, separating the facts and the fiction is interesting because I think that all of us, and this goes for everyone in the media, the fans, everything in general, we all get a little bit swept in where you can see a report coming in from the other side of the world and you might think it's total rubbish and it turns out to be true. And likewise, you can see things that you think that are reliable that might not be. So it's so hard to balance these things, but hopefully we're going to do a decent enough job of going through some of the bits that have come up in the last few weeks.
Yeah, you may have seen us and heard us talk about these players before, but we wanted to do like an in-depth video on them. And of course, the big talking point right now is Amari Hutchinson, AJ. Obviously, Town fans would love to see him back. I'm sure Kieran McKenna would like to maybe reunite with him on a permanent deal. What do you know? What's the current state on that?
Yeah, this one's been coming for a while, hasn't it? Because we spoke to Mark Ashton. Stu spoke to Mark Ashton midway through last month, and there was the interest there in bringing him back. There've been reports saying that Town are getting ready to start those negotiations, and then last night it was broken by Fabrizio Romano, the transfer expert himself, now doing all things Town at the moment, that Ipswich have started those negotiations. So the bits that he mentioned were there's no buyback clause in the talks that they're having at the moment, and the fee is going to be in the region of 20 to 25 million. So from my understanding, the buyback clause stuff is true. Chelsea will not have a buyback clause to bring him back to Stamford Bridge in a potential deal, but especially in terms of where they're at with the negotiations at the moment, 20 to 25 million is quite comfortably off the mark. So it will still be a deal if it goes through. You'd imagine that will quite comfortably shatter Ipswich Town's current record transfer, which is 4.75 million, Ross, I think.
Something like that,
yeah, in that region, we need to start getting that one nailed on, but I think it's around that. So yeah, those talks will continue. Be interesting to see what happens over the next 2 days because obviously we're now approaching the financial fair play deadline, and Chelsea are a team that will need to keep their finances in check with their spending. There's quite a few players linked away, so we'll have to see maybe if that accelerates things, what that means in terms of the deal and trying to get things agreed to avoid any sorts of punishments. A few different reports coming out on that one, but at the moment, that's where we're at. It's an offer definitely below what has been reported at this point in terms of what the talks are in terms of the fee, but no buyback clause is inserted as things stand. So fingers crossed that can really accelerate in the next few days and we can get Amari Hutchinson back at Portman Road because wow, that would be some way to start the summer transfer window.
Yeah, indeed. Quick, put you on the spot here, AJ, just for the listeners if they don't know the deadline for the FFP.
FFP,
sort of
yep.
Yeah.
June 30th. So that's when they need to have it all sorted out. So
Yeah.
it's got to be by the end of this weekend, realistically, to get everything in check for Monday. And Town will probably want it going the other way as well, so they can get as many players in at the start of pre-season as possible. We'll have to wait and see with that. But whether that plays a part in terms of this weekend and getting things sped up a little bit, we'll have to wait and see.
We shall. One player that looking likely to potentially sign for Town is Jayden Johnson from West Ham. His contract runs out at the Hammers this Sunday, June 30th, and a free transfer for Town. We spoke about him a lot on the podcast, AJ, but a player that I'm sure ticks all the McKinnon boxes.
Yeah, I like him a lot. 24, versatile, natural right back who started his career as a winger, came deeper, can play centre back, has played left back, has been drafted into midfield by David Moyes last season. So he does a bit of everything and he doesn't lose anything in terms of going into other positions, which I think is really important. So, as was reported from ex-West Ham United employee on Twitter. Yes. That's it. Got it there. And was backed up quite soon after that. That was an offer that came in from Town. It just had to go to him because there's no transfer fee involved in this. He's been offered a new contract at West Ham. apparently 5-year deal, but that looks like it's going to be turned down with first choice right back Vladimir Sufal staying there as well. They've triggered the option to keep him there for another year, which means his pathway into the first team is much more complicated at this point. So you need to be playing regular football. 24, he's got the opportunity now to come and do that in the Premier League under a manager in Kieran McKenna that will hopefully get the best out of him. His style suits Ipswich in terms of being that kind of defender that can move into a centre back and switch everything around to make it into a back five. Makes lots of sense, and it would be a really nice addition given that he's been linked with Crystal Palace quite heavily. Rangers have been interested. Leeds, I know they're in the Championship, but still a club that have a lot of money and quite a big reputation and pedigree. So to be able to come out on top over these clubs, if it is going to be a deal that happens in the next few days, especially also coming out over West Ham, a club he's been at since the age of 7, I believe it is, would be a really fantastic one and adds depth on the right, where currently got Axel Tuanzebe, Harry Clark's injured, I believe, for a little while after having Achilles surgery. So really what Town need.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot indeed. Now, let's talk about team of the season in the Championship, defender in Jacob Greaves of Hull City. Good old Stuart Watson understands, and we understand here at the AATT, that Town will hold firm in the valuation of the Hull City defender. Yeah, a player that has got some interest from other Premier League teams, AJ.
Yeah, I like Jacob Greaves a lot, and he would have been on one of my Championship transfer target pieces if I thought it was realistic, because I've seen him linked to West Ham, thought that there might be more established Premier League sides coming in for him. We know that West Ham are interested, and Everton are seemingly in that position as well, knowing that they could lose Jared Branthwaite this summer. West Ham, of course, have been linked. Lots of interest in Naif Agad and Kurt Zuma, both potentially going. So teams need new centre-backs, and when you're looking at the Championship, especially left-footed, left-sided centre-backs, Jacob Greaves is pretty near the top, you've got to be honest. A player that has played in quite an attack-minded team in Hull. We all remember what they were like, especially in the reverse game, the 3-3 draw at the MKM Stadium? Yeah, whatever that was. But the game late on in the season was fantastic. He's comfortable on the ball. He's quite tall. He's really strong in tackles. He's not that bad aerially. He feels like a ready-made player to step up. Only young still. Again, I believe 24 off the top of my head. Put him on the spot. Yeah, 24. Really exciting one. But Town have their limits on what they want to go to. There'll be a specific budget. And as we'll go on to, there are other players that they want to come and bring in. So it looks like they're going to try and stick around the 10 million mark. I don't think that, by the sounds of it, Hull would even contemplate an offer like that. Reports saying, we're looking between 15 up to maybe 25 million for a player like him. So want to see if anyone budges in that regard, and whether other clubs come in, whether other clubs decide they actually don't want to go to that kind of fee for someone that hasn't played above Championship level. But he'd be a really good addition if Town could get him. It just feels like a tough one to get done.
Yeah, we shall see on that one. Also, another Hull City player who's been linked to Barcelona, and that is Jayden Johnson. Reportedly have been reached. Town have reached out to Hull City on the winger. But yeah, this one probably looking unlikely, AJ.
Yeah, I feel like if Barcelona are interested in the player that you want and you're a newly promoted Championship team, it's probably going to be a tricky deal to get done, to be perfectly honest. So he's someone that Town know very well. They were interested in him last season. He ended up going to Hull, and he's been really good there. I think it's 12 goals, 6 assists, again, off the top of my head. Yeah, really big fan of him. We'll all remember the Rabona goal he scored against Rotherham. Probably should have been an own goal, let's be honest, but it was a nice goal. Yeah, but all in all, you can see why there's top clubs interested in him. I think Tottenham are the latest to be linked. West Ham are interested. Fabrizio Romano credited this as Ipswich and West Ham and numerous other Premier League clubs, which means that it's going to be big interest. But their owner, I'm going to butcher this, Akun Ilikali. Hull City's owner, it's got a weird pronunciation. It's harder than it looks, guys, because it's not how it's spelled. Their owner has come in before and said it's going to be 25 million at least to bring him. And that was think, towards the latter stages of the season, that could be higher now as well. I think it'll be a tough one for Town to get done, but a versatile winger that you'd like to see them have. And it again shows the ambition as well that we're talking about someone that's been linked to top clubs, not only in England, but in Europe, and then Town are in that conversation.
Yeah. Should we talk about the goalkeeper situation, AJ? Because there's been some talks on potentially departures, but also potential in as well. Vaz, obviously, Vaklakalaki, close enough.
Ooh.
Not could have been better. Everyone knows I'm terrible at saying Vaz's name, but he's been speaking in his homeland, and contracts stalling at the moment. It sounds.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's been harder for him than he expected, and potentially a little bit harder for Ipswich just to kind of find that middle ground. And it's going to be talking about things like money in terms of the Premier League wages that a goalkeeper should be earning, and also probably trying to discuss a little bit where his kind of position lies as first choice. Is he going to go back to being a backup at Town, going to be in the market for another goalkeeper? At the moment, we're in a position where all three goalkeepers have question marks over their heads, because we're looking at Christian Walton, who does he want to stay at the club knowing that he won't be the first choice, knowing that he'd been linked to being a first choice in the Premier League as recently as 12 months ago? Is there a chance for him to kickstart his career a bit more elsewhere? And then Kieran Slicker, who's got seemingly half of Scotland interested in him. Quite a few clubs there. Burnley have pulled out. Kilmarnock are in the race. Partick Thistle in the second tier in the race. There's a few teams who are keen
Ross
on
County,
bringing
I
him
think.
in. Ross County, that was it. Clever. So yeah, quite a bit of competition for him. You'd imagine that he'll go out. If that happens, if Walton goes, then you're looking at probably one or two new goalkeepers coming in. If Vaz then doesn't sign, it's looking like quite a major shift. So yeah, it's going to be frustrating for supporters, probably for the club, for Vaz, because I know that he wants to sign. He's said that quite openly. He wants to get this new deal done. There's seemingly been a bit of interest from elsewhere. Celtic and probably others would be happy to take a punt on him if it is a free transfer, but his contract expires soon. So there needs to be a breakthrough sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we shall wait. Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about a goalkeeper that Town apparently a hopeful one, and that is a man who's actually at Brighton as well. So Town could be signing another Brighton goalkeeper. But yeah, that is Carl Rushworth, who was on loan at Swansea last season. Decent keeper.
Yeah, should we use this to lead in some rapid fire transfer bits to bring us around? Right, let's start off with Carl Rushworth then. Young goalkeeper, was at Swansea last season. I think it was Walsall, Lincoln City before that. So he's kind of come through the ranks quite well. Really impressed in all those spells, but it's the Swansea one that stood out. And again, comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's been really good in that kind of team that, again, wants to play front-footed, attacking football, playing out from the back. Works really, really well for him. Again, the Brighton links will make things interesting given the last few weeks. We shall see. But he, again, given his age profile, given the fact that he's English as well, I mean, that's the kind of thing that drives money up. English players are worth more within the English market. Interesting to see how that one materializes, but I think he's definitely a player on a list of names that Town are looking at if they're going to strengthen the goalkeeper department. Fotis Ioannidis is an interesting one. We've gone over him 1,000,001 times, but bids being reported in the region of 20, 25 million. A few others saying that there aren't the bids there, but the interest is there. I think the interest is quite clearly there from Town, but competition from Champions League sides and huge fees. I mean, we're talking similar, if not more, to what Omari Hutchinson would cost, which is crazy. Nat Phillips at Liverpool, which is an interesting one. 27, a few championship loans now. Obviously, got drafted in famously into that Liverpool back line where he just got thrown into the deep end and did pretty well, to be honest, against some really good teams and some huge games. In a season where they finished third, he'd apparently be available for 8 million, according to the Daily Mail. Don't really see this one, but maybe again a name on the list. Osterbold at Fenerbahce, left-sided centre-back, can cover left-back, playing under Jose Mourinho. Would he want to go? I mean, if you're playing under Jose Mourinho in Europe, I'd like to stay there, but the appeal of the Premier League is clear, and Town are seemingly looking for players that can cover that left-sided centre-back role. We're seeing it with Greaves as well. So maybe there is something in that one. He's looks like quite a good player. And then the last one going out as well, looks like Gaston Hadme could be heading out. That was a story that I broke, was it a couple of days ago? Charlton Athletic are interested in signing him. They're one of a few clubs. I imagine that League One will probably be his level. Town will push to get a fee. They'll make sure they get a fee to have him go. It won't be a mutual consent FC and then moving on deal. They will want to get the money there. So we'll see if any other clubs come to the table for him, but Charlton are definitely one of them.
Yeah, well, we shall see what happens then, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the boys are back in pre-season on July 1st, Monday. So we'll see more deals happening. We shall see. AJ, any other business from you? Obviously, it's slow at the moment, slow transfer window. You did a great story on what's happened so far with the other Premier League clubs. Not much has happened. Obviously, players have left, and some teams are signing players from each other.
Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place. Some of it makes me a bit uncomfortable when teams are sending players to other teams to try and, well, we can't say for sure, but it looks a little bit dodgy with the FFP, you'd say, things like that. That's been a big bulk of the deals, actually. But other than that, yeah, it's been a little bit slow market in terms of done deals, but the rumour mill's going, and it's just trying to determine the fact from the fiction, as we said at the start. Hopefully, these little weekly bits can help you guys understand what the current situation is with Town's transfer approach. And when we're back next week, we'll probably have another 400 odds to go through.
Yeah, that is the plan, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully bring you these every week, give you some insight. Let us know in the comments down below your thoughts and feelings as well. And we shall see what happens over the weekend and going forward. Bye-bye for now, ladies and gentlemen.